Welcome to another Road to Hollywood. We've got a great show for you tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. First of all, I want to introduce, again, he's my partner in crime, but more importantly, a legendary musician and a guy who's got his finger on the pulse of where the music business is and where it's heading. And again, you know him from his past work with such legends as Pink Floyd, James Brown, Diana Ross, Duran Duran, Supertramp, the list goes on and on. Again, welcome to the Road to Hollywood. It's Scott Page.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I got the finger on the pulse, and it's right here on you, because you're the guy that really has it on the pulse. That's for sure. So, hey, Jay, I got an idea, dude.
Yes.
All right, since last time you've always interviewed me, and I think most people probably out there don't really even know about you. You know, we know you have 40 years in the business, so I want to ask you tonight, we're going to interview you to find out a little bit about it, because clearly after 40 years in the business, you've worked with all the greats. Tell us a little bit about how you got started. And first of all, are you a musician?
Well, I was. You know, it all started with that. You know, I can't remember a time without music. Literally in the crib, I was feeling music. It really moved me. And as soon as possible, I was infatuated with it, listening to my parents' music collection. But I saw the Beatles on television, on the Ed Sullivan Show. And that, like so many other people, changed their lives. My family immediately moved to England after that. So not only being infatuated with that new pop, rock, soul, whatever you call that explosion of music in the mid-'60s, but I immediately convinced my mother to buy me a guitar, and her stipulation was I could play the guitar in a rock band and all that if I went to the orchestra, if I played in the orchestra in the school.
A little bribery.
Yeah, so I said no problem. So I picked up the cello and eventually moved to the string bass because that was a little more closer to a rock-oriented bass. But yeah, I played guitar, you know, in my early years. And what I realized was, as a musician, I could only do so much. But being that bridge, naturally being a creative person, if I could move from playing in the parties to putting on the parties, now I could have potentially a lifetime career doing what I loved. I mean, the music moved me that fast, that deep, you know, that early. So I actually started on the business side. If people can imagine, starting to play guitar at 6, I turned professional at 11. By the time I was 16, I was in the business side. Wow. And that was 40 years ago. So it really came to the point where I wanted to do so much more than just play. You know, I felt I was limited, and some virtuoso could knock on the door, some child prodigy, you know, Beethoven could be at the door, and all of a sudden I'm out of a gig.
Right.
So that wasn't going to happen. Right. So having grown up throughout the world, England and Europe, and then when I turned professional musician, I lived in Texas, very rich musical communities. I continued on the business side, and I was always that kind of do-it-yourself guy. I would not only volunteer at the radio stations and the concert promotion and all these companies, but as soon as I went to college, which was on the Canadian border, right in between Seattle and Vancouver, in that very fertile late 70s, I actually, at my campus, I designed my own major. I took all the best from, you know, music and arts and business and marketing and broadcast. I call it arts and entertainment management and got it okayed by all the heads of the business schools. But I also became and was elected the concert promoter from my university and was the program director, station manager for the station.
So you said elected?
Yes,
that's an elected official.
Course. Oh,
is that like running for president?
Yeah,
Did you have to do something?
Be elected.
Wow, and what's that process?
Well, it's real simple. You know, there's a few people that vie for it, and everybody votes. So, by the time I had finished college, basically on the dime of the campus and just me creating my own syndicated radio show and everything with no budget, no staff, I was just that go-getter. And this was the late 70s, like I say. So as a concert promoter, I'd put on the first shows ever by, you know, such legendary groups as The Clash and all the breakouts of that late 70s.
This was in college?
That was in college, Seattle, Vancouver area. The Clash's first shows they ever did in North America was in Vancouver. It's called the Pearl Harbor Tour. They started in Vancouver, and they dropped like 8 bombs down the coast. Of course, San Francisco, L.A., I think New Orleans, Atlanta, and D.C. and New York was the first Clash tour. But by the time I moved here in 1980, I just hit the ground running. It was the beginning of the whole new wave alternative scene. Hip hop was still just brewing in the boroughs of New York, and by the time it started coming up, I was heavily involved, launching the careers of the first groups coming through town, like, U2 and Metallica. I was very big in that initial rock scene.
And how did you get into that? Where did that come from?
Again, I was the guy. When I came here, I was already about 9 years into business, and I was already working with every label. My syndicated radio show I did during college, called Insights, gave me the opportunity to interview any band that I could possibly convince that I could put a microphone in front of. So with no budget, no staff, during my college, I would call up every record company and find out what new releases were coming out. And of course, I was not only the campus promoter at my university, I was right in between Seattle and Vancouver, so I was working with the top promoters in those two cities. So everybody came through Vancouver and Seattle, and some of them even stopped in Bellingham, which was where Western Washington was. But it was a very fertile time. Like I say, all these bands were just coming out, Judas Priest and, the U2s and the all this, the Sex Pistols, everything was popping. So by the time I hit LA, it was just booming. I was running marketing and promotion for just a who's who in the industry. Some were on, labels, some were independent. It was a very fertile time because through the whole punk scene, I really helped launch the whole DIY movement. And a lot of the bands were starting to make their own music and saying, F the companies, we're just going to put out our own 45 and then our 12-inch and all that. And I helped launch groups like Black Flag and so many seminal groups here in L.A., like I say, Metallica, Dogg and Rat,
wow.
All the Motley Crue. Motley Crue was a great standout. When they came out, nobody sounded like them, and it was just an immediate reaction. The kids loved them. To me, they were crossed between like Sweet and Cheap Trick. Right. But with the hair and the flash and the leather, and of course, Nikki Sixx running the show and Tommy Lee on drums, it was a huge smash.
And who was it that kind of gave you your first break in this? I mean, like when you came out here to L.A., I mean, how did you just get on the phone and start calling people and show them, say, hey, I'm going to promote her? Who was your mentor?
Well, again, I definitely had mentors, and I was coming fresh out of college where I'd already been working with all the bands, working with all the labels. So when I came to L.A., it was people like IRS. I'd done a lot of work with Miles Copeland and Jay Boberg. And
how were they to work with?
Miles was a visionary. I mean, when I worked with the Police and helped put on their first shows ever in the Northwest, they went from playing in a van, if you can imagine Sting in a van, to tour buses and private jets within about 2 years. They became the biggest stadium act in the world, in the next couple of years. And same thing happened when I started working with U2 down here. The first show in Southern California was 600 people at the Country Club, which is now a church, on Sherman Way in Reseda. Yep. And the second show, they played for 12 people, almost as many people in the room right here. Saw U2 at their first show in Orange County. And within a year and a half, they stole the show at the US Festival in front of 300,000 people. Wow. So I knew right then that it was anything goes. There was no rules. The opening acts were becoming the headliners. This little punk or new wave or alternative band became the stadium acts. And I was the first person to bring Run DMC out here from New York. There was a thing called the street scene downtown. Wow. And if anybody remembers that, there was over 1 million people at free shows. There were stages everywhere. And I booked Run DMC and a lot of the acts for the first time, Grandmaster Flash and everybody. And that was the beginning. The first people to ever play hip-hop in L.A., if you can imagine this, was the alternative station. K-Rock played The Message by Grandmaster Flash. And hip-hop was right in there in my repertoire, just like punk rock, alternative, funk, and metal. It was just, it was another anti-authority music. It really... it came from the heart, came from the street. So it was no different to me than metal or punk rock. It just it grew from New York, and then I was a big part of launching these LA bands. Ice-T, N.W.A, of course, which led into Above the Law and Compton's Most Wanted, and so many of the groups that spun off of N.W.A. And we'll get to it later, but it's a real treat to be honoring N.W.A this year because. Ice-T was the first, what they called gangster rapper out here. He, a lot of friends in New York. And, of course, Seymour Stein, who, Sire Records, who we're definitely going to honor at IES, he started the whole ball rolling. He signed Madonna, signed the Ramones, signed Ice-T. But it was N.W.A that really dropped the bomb, that created the whole explosion of West Coast hip hop, gangster rap, whatever you want to call it. So it all led from there, you know. So it was very organic. People say, "How do you get involved in hip hop?" It's like saying, "How do you get involved in music?" It all started, you know, from the same love to help creative people get their music out there. And I was always the first guy to get involved.
Yeah.
Nobody had to say, like, okay, you're hired or this and that. I was being on the cutting edge of all those bands. I was just in the right place at the right time. So having the opportunity to, like, book bands into the street scene or doing promotions, you know, when I met Brian and Mark, who started Priority Records, N.W.A was their first urban act. They had the California Raisins, a little claymation, you know, video, and that's how Priority Records started. But when they came with Eazy Does It and Straight Outta Compton, they were a brand new label, and I was doing street promotions and stuff for them, and it was a sonic boom, you know, when everybody heard F the Police and Straight Outta Compton and everything, it really exploded. So to me, what's so great about the indie scene today is it comes full circle. You know, a lot of these, back in the 60s, you know, it was indie labels and stuff that had these top 40 hits that broke out, and then they got signed to a major, and then they became, you know, these legends today. And, you know, we're celebrating the induction in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this next month with not only Public Enemy, and of course N.W.A was up for the honor, and hopefully they'll be in next year, but Lou Adler, who, you know, started so much on the West Coast here, and gosh, I don't have the list in front of me, but it's great to see these guys that started real street and real independent.
Actually, you don't need a list. I actually got to say that I don't think I've ever met anybody in my life that is like a walking encyclopedia of music for the last 40 years. It completely blows my mind when we sit there and you start just rapping off all these names and people and things and bands and stuff from all genres. There's no question you've been in this game a while, and it's actually very fascinating to kind of get your take on a lot of this stuff.
Well, you know, it's I've been a student of the game, like I say, since I could crawl. So to me, it's my business. You ask me about somebody that's relevant, and I don't know about them, I'm severely lacking. So it's exciting to be the ultimate fan, and that's really what I would tell everybody out there. A lot of people think the fan is the guy they talk down to, or the guy's just buying a ticket or their CD. But, you know, the greatest artists out there are fans themselves, you know. And when you talk about, you know, the highest of the high, you know, a Dave Grohl or a Dr. Dre, or these guys are fans of the music. That doesn't mean you're a groupie or some frivolous, you know, fanatic. It means that you haven't lost your love for the music and the reason it started. Yeah. And that's really what it takes. I feel that once you lose that, you might as well get out of the way.
Well, you know, it's funny. All the guys that I've worked with through the years, all the great musicians are major fans of music. I mean, it's not like, obviously, it sounds like a stupid thing to say, but it's really true. It's a different level, and it's interesting how so many times the conversations will go to that, and that's where the love fest starts to happen, is when you start talking about they'll start talking about the subtleties and the little things that most people don't know about the music, because they eat, drink, sleep it, and live it. I know it's the same for myself. I remember getting up in the morning, and the first thing I'd do is put my instrument in my hand, and I would play till I couldn't stand it, and then I'd go play my gig, and then I'd make sure I taped every night, and I'd listen to that tape every night when I came home. I'd play for 2 more hours when I'd come home, go to bed, and do it every day the same. So there's definitely a love. It's fascinating to see. You know, I don't know your space as much because I've always been on the playing side, so it's actually very interesting to hear. So let me ask you, who, out of all the people you've worked with through the years, I mean, which ones are the most memorable? What are the most, like, what campaigns, what things do you think were really interesting?
Well, again, those are definitely some of them. You know, seeing the explosion of the whole alternative scene, you know, which today is almost mainstream. I mean, when you look at the charts, these groups that were so outsiders, you know, were you know, they're now the biggest selling artists in the world. You know, when you think of a U2 or a Metallica or something. But you know, it was the beginning of that alternative scene. Matter of fact, me and Miles Copeland and a couple guys, we started an alternative magazine called DIY because Billboard wasn't covering this new wave and punk rock and alternative. So Miles, being a visionary, he said, look, I'll back you guys, go for it. What we did was we linked all the alternative record stores, radio stations, which many of them were college, and venues, the clubs. We linked those together in a trade paper called DIY. Well, we had to go out of business in 2 years because Billboard went from not covering any of this to having the Go-Go's on the cover and Oingo Boingo and U2, of course, and so much more, Depeche Mode and you name it. They really took over. So I would say the definitely the birth of the alternative scene, and no question the beginning of the metal scene in LA. You know, first time I had booked Metallica, I didn't even think that group was going to be all that because their songs were so raw. They were into these long jams. To me, growing up with the Beatles and the Stones and Motown,
3.5 minutes.
I was a sucker for a chorus, you know. So, you know, they came on, and of course, out of that scene, you know, Motley Crue had more hooks and stuff, but the birth of that scene, you know, Motley Crue was, they don't get enough credit. You know, Nikki Sixx is a visionary. Like I say, anytime you step into a market and no one is doing what you're doing, and half the people are flipping you off and the other half are trying to tear your clothes off, you know you're onto something. And that's what happened there. And then again, the birth of the whole hip-hop scene, especially with N.W.A, because you know, with Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, MC Ren, DJ Yella, everything that came from that, they were like a family tree, you know, and so much incredible stuff spawned from that.
Well, you know, actually, one of the things that I think that's really fascinated me about the hip-hop scene that I've seen is probably from a business sense, the hip-hop community has been the smartest business people. I would always, you know, you look at all the indie artists, a lot of these rock guys, they're out there trying to figure out how to make a living. And a lot of these guys are out there, man, they're pressing the flesh. They're selling stuff out of the backs of their cars. They're doing it. I mean, it was really, they really kind of invented sort of this alternative, or not alternative, but affiliate kind of what I'll call affiliate networking of bringing how they brought the new talent up through the system by wrapping their arms around them. And they'd look at them and say, wow, this guy's really hustling. So they'd really look for people that were really working it, you know? And it was fascinating. I mean, these guys were cleaning up.
Yeah, I mean, it is, you know, inbred within the community that you got to go out there and hustle for what you get. And, you know, the record deals were almost a distraction for a lot of the groups early on because they've all gone back to the indies. But it's that fever. I mean, Def Jam started in a college dorm room, you know, with Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons. And it was that spirit of, we're going to go out, we're going to make great music, and we're going to campaign for this music, you know. And obviously early on, there wasn't a lot of radio stations playing them, wasn't a lot of venues that would book them. They were misunderstood. The major media wasn't covering them. People thought hip-hop was going to last a year or two, you know, when it first came out in the 80s. So, yeah, that hustle activity, the grind, you know, is what we love, and the artists today really thrive on that. Let's go to a little clip here, and we'll come back and we can talk a lot more about this. I know we're just scratching the surface.
Scratching it.
So let's go a little bit. Let's hear from IES and what we got coming up.
Hey, what up? This is Corey from SLIPKNOT.
This is Matt Sorum from Velvet Revolver.
What's up? It's your boy Mac 10.
Hey, this is Mike Inez from Alice in Chains.
What's up? This is Be Real from Cypress Hill.
What's up? I'm Sean from Yellow Card.
It's your boy Warren G.
I'm Brooks Wackerman from Bad Religion.
Hey, yo, this is Method Man.
This is Mick Jones from Foreigner.
I got a question for you. Are you serious about moving your creative career forward? Then you need to be at IES.
If you're a musician out there, you got a band, you want to rock, don't sit down on your ass and wait for someone to knock on your door.
You can do it yourself. Don't wait for nobody. Do your thing, man. You know, life is short. You only live once.
Totally independent, and I love it.
Everything's important about the indie world. It has been for a long time.
You got more control, and you make 10 times as much money. 10 times more money.
Don't wait for the record label, do it yourself.
People need to hear the music that's in your head, that's in your fingers, that's in your heart. So get out there and let's hear it.
Because of the internet and because of the greed of those old school executives at these record companies, the power is now in your hands, artists.
Take back your art and don't sell yourself cheap or short to anyone.
If you believe in your music, if you believe in your gift, if you believe what God has given you, make sure you go to IES, show the world what you got. It's going to be going down here in Los Angeles, and it's something that gets all you independent artists getting going on that drive, doing what you guys got to do, man.
Be independent.
Don't be afraid to be independent.
You gotta be a part of doing you first, and that means independence. I implore you to go to the IES, the Independent Entertainment Summit, and do your thing.
If you think you know what you're doing in this music business, I don't care who you are, there are things you will learn.
The indie way is the way. You know, the large corporations have basically disintegrated. They're looking to the indie community to create the music and create the genesis of what's going to be the next environment.
If you've started a new band and you're having a little bit of trouble figuring out where to go next or what you should be doing, who you should be talking to, whether you need a record label or how to get your music distributed, you need to go to the Indie Entertainment Summit. That's the place where you go to meet industry panel experts. They're going to tell you everything you need to know to get you where you want to be.
For me, I spend all of my days and months going around the world educating musicians on how they can better actually release their music and market their music. It's part of my mission. It's part of the way that we can grow the music business. So I'm going to go at all the important summits that I can go to, and the Indie Entertainment Summit is going to be one of the places that I'll be. You want to be educated? You want me to help educate it? You better be there.
If you rap, sing, dance, model, DJ, or act, or like myself do comedy, you can't afford to miss this conference.
You're trying to do your thing in this business, and you're tired of waiting on somebody to help you. In August, come to LA, the Indie Entertainment Summit.
You know what time it is, man. It's that time, Rolex time. Chasing cash, get money, get care. Shout out to Hit Boy, G-Rock, Money Making Man, Stacy B, and Circa. And we here with the Indie Entertainment Summit, man. Y'all need to be here, man. It's in LA in August, man. Beautiful people here, man. Dropping knowledge, dropping gems about this new way to pursue this music and a new way to get this money, man.
It's the Indie Entertainment Summit. That's the IES, baby.
Very important place to be if you want information to take things to the next level. You may not have access to the internet. It's okay too. Go there. You have an opportunity, IES.
Write it, rap it, produce it, mix it, arrange it, rap it, sell it. That gives you the power.
Every second that you're sitting on your butt waiting for something good to happen, your competition is passing you by. So if you got a dream, go and fight for it and support Indie Entertainment Summit.
I need y'all to come out to my city and represent with the Entertainment Indie Summit. It's going down August 1st through the 5th. If you're an independent artist, you're an independent label, you want to get your music out there, you want to network, come out to Los Angeles.
All you gotta do is, if you want to blow up in this industry, go to IES conference in LA, Google it, you gotta be there.
Showcases, panels, opportunities, everything that Indie Entertainment Summit does is something that is very much for today's music industry. We know how it used to be, but we don't know how it's going to be tomorrow. But I think the Indie Entertainment Summit is going to be an opportunity for motivated, ambitious professionals to meet each other.
Music business is a hard thing to break into.
So you gotta do what you can. Check out IES, Indie Entertainment Summit.
If you're gonna be anywhere, you need to be at IES, man, in LA, man. That's where it's gonna be at.
It's going down just like that, August 1st through the 5th. IES, man.
If you ain't going to IES, you ain't gonna live to be an artist. You know why? IES, feed your mind, feed your soul. Get a good lawyer. They'll teach you which way to go.
If you're serious about your music, where do they need to be? You
gotta be at IES, yo.
What's that?
Indie Entertainment Summit.
You should check it out at IES.com. Hopefully this will become an annual event that we'll all be going to many years from now.
You need to be out to IES.
That's IES, baby.
Going down August 1st through the 5th.
You have to check out IES.
IES, show the world what you got.
Ain't no excuses. It's now or never.
It's your chance to show the world what you've got.
IES. I hope I see you there.
Indie Entertainment Summit, man. Circa, we gonna be there.
Indie motherfucking Entertainment Summit. Be there, Jack.
IES. Look for it online. The Indie Entertainment Summit.
If you really think you got what it takes to stand out, you really want to make sure you stand out, you can show the world what you got at the IES, the Indie Entertainment Summit.
IES, it's going to be here in Los Angeles.
Entertainment capital of the world. If you ain't there, you're nowhere.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Road to Hollywood. As you can see, I'm not Jay Warsinske. Tonight I get to be the announcer, actually the interviewer, because I am interviewing the lovely and talented Mr. Jay Warsinske. We figured it was important for him to tell us a little bit about the what's going on today in the industry, since he's always interviewing everybody else. And I want to get back to IES, so the Indie Entertainment Summit. So, Jay, why did you start the Indie Entertainment Summit?
Well, having been in the industry for 40 years, I've spoken literally at over 600 events, from Grammys to MEDEM, from you name it, from New Music Seminar to all of them. And we used to have a whole bunch of conferences in this industry, Urban Network and Jack the Rapper and Gavin and How I Can Be Down and Impact and, BRE, and there were tons of them. And they all went away. Not because there wasn't a need for the knowledge, is they were all dependent on a major label check. The industry of old would have a certain way of doing business, and that's why you almost needed a record deal, because these guys were running the industry, they were running MTV, they were running radio, and when the internet came in, everything changed. 99% of the people I knew in the business are gone. The record companies are gone. I drive around Hollywood, it's like a graveyard. Hey, that's where Capitol was, and that's where Warner Brothers was, and Atlantic was over there, and it's that kind of business right now. So what's actually happened is there's a lot of these tech events that spring up, and then there's a lot of cool events that are very niche, like an ASCAP Expo for songwriters. But there wasn't anything, especially in LA, that really brought it all together. Nothing that would really actually give you the tools to build your business, move ahead without a record label, without a movie studio, without $1 million budget, and show you how you can advance every aspect of your career. And what I saw in the indie world is a lot of the guys that were doing the big stuff were very free and open about giving their information. Unlike the past, where if you worked for Sony, you would never disclose to Warner Brothers guys what you were doing. The indie world was always an incredible camaraderie, because I can learn how Tech Nine did it or Black Flag or Metallica did it. Doesn't mean I'm going to be able to do that, because there's still a lot of unique characters, and you still got to go get the fans and ignite that flame. So it really became a situation where there's all this new tech, and the Napsters and the MySpaces and all these companies cropped up, and the old guard record companies just try to keep them at bay. Like, no, we don't want the record industry to change. The music business is fine. We're making our millions and all that. And it came to the point where, look, there needs to be bridges built between music and all these independent film and TV, and DJs were exploding, and comedians were coming from left field and becoming the most popular guys, the Kevin Harts and the Louis C.K.'s, and all this stuff was exploding. So what I really realized last year, after going to MEDEM for my 22nd year in a row in Cannes in the south of France, after speaking at New Music Seminar, after attending CMJ and all South by Southwest especially, I said, that's it. None of these guys are getting it right. South by is a great party if you want a drunken Mardi Gras, which, there may be a place for that, but does nothing to build your business or your knowledge. And same with CMJ, and again, we're not knocking these other things. The few that are out there, some of them are outdated, and some of them are fine for the niche that they serve. But LA, being the entertainment capital of the world, had nothing. We've got nothing out here, and this is where all the speakers are. This is where it goes down. So I said, absolutely, we need to start something that's fresh, that's new. It's going to be all independent. It's going to be all entertainment. And it's going to be a summit right here in LA, the entertainment capital of the world, bringing all these people together, music and TV and the arts and dance and comedy and DJs. And not to dilute it, it's not spread thin. What it is there's an independent spirit. And you're seeing that in a lot of these successful tours and events and projects right now. Even stuff that's exploding on TV. The music guys need to know the filmmakers, and the video guys making the videos need to find the talent. And the dancers or the comedians or the DJs can learn more by coming together. A lot of times you go see Snoop Dogg and he's performing with Mike Epps, and there's a DJ opening. So you got hip hop, you got comedy, you got DJs, you got maybe a classic car show in the parking lot. I mean, it's about really giving the people an experience and giving them value for their money, because again, these big corporations have just risen the price of concert tickets. So it's time for the indies out there. So we created IES last year with very little staff, no budgets, no sponsors, and we hit a grand slam. It was an amazing experience that I knew enough people in the business that all I needed to say was, can you please come and speak at this event? And we had like 80 of the biggest movers and shakers in the industry come down. And our initial hip-hop honors, I mean, we inducted the legends like Tech-9, who is the biggest selling independent artist in America today, inducted, the Alcoholics, and Spice One, who was a mentor to Tupac, and inducted Chino XL, who's one of the legendary lyricists of all time. And these are the guys that Eminem and Dr. Dre and Snoop and everybody look up to. And, this year we're going to blow it out of the water. But, it was just the biggest feedback we got was just it's the right thing in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. The thing I really like about it is that there's nothing like pressing the flesh face to face. And if you think about it, a lot of artists, there's really no place for them to go to really, like you said, meet up with those film guys, those TV guys, the publishers, all those different types of folks in one location, because so much of it's all really built on relationships. And so here you get to come to a place. This is what I liked about last year, man. I met so many people coming over when I was over there talking on the panel that I've got great contacts, and that's really the name of the game, is getting in, finding those people that can really help you out. So that's great. So this year, what's going to be different this year, you think?
Well, it's just going to.
Where's it going? Where's it growing?
It's going to continue to grow and grow. The bottom line is, like I say, we're onto something big. Again, we're not here to smash or destruct, anything else that's out there. But there's a vibrancy right now. You've got Macklemore with the #1 song in the world without a record deal. You have Tech-9, who will be with us on Saturday at Paid Dues.
How about John Bonamassa?
Joe Bonamassa, yeah. He's a blues legend who is not even on the radio and made $22 million last year. But again, getting back to Tech-9, again, this is a guy who's the biggest. He's got more sellouts on the road, packing the venues that he does, and he's not on the radio. He's not on the mainstream media. His video's not on BET. And like the guys from RBC, and of course Violet Brown, who'll be on our show coming up. These are the people that are coming to IES, and they're telling you how Tech-9 did it, how Joe Bonamassa did it, how Macklemore did it, how Mac Miller had the #1 selling album in America with no record deal. This is the the age that we're living in. And right now there's more movies. Of course, with the Grammys that just happened, Mumford & Sons won the Grammy for the best album of the year, which is an independent artist on an independent label with independent distribution. And that marks 5 years in a row that the independent artists have actually won the biggest Grammy of all. So, of course, the Grammys are getting involved now with IES. It will never lose its independent nature. But again, how can you call the Grammys anything other than all facets when 5 times in a row the indies have stolen the #1 prize? So it's just going to be a continual evolution every year. I mean, we can blank and see 5 or 10 years from now. And there's a lot of artists to honor. There's a lot of speakers. There's more knowledge that comes out every day now than used to come out in a month.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what's great about it. Again, part of what I like about IES is it's kind of focused on really showing you and helping you as an independent artist to be a business. Because that's one of the things that you just don't really get anywhere. You know, it's like, again, like you said, how did they do it, right? How did they make it happen? What techniques, what types of things work for you? What tools do you actually really need? What about, if you're thinking about the social networks, which ones really matter? How to nurture or engage those audiences? I mean, all those things that you're going to really need to really build your own business, because at the end of the day, isn't it all about your community of people that are surrounding your fans? And hopefully what you do is you got to be able to turn those fans into customers so that they actually help you support your business. So tell us a little more about like what's going on with the rock honors and stuff this year.
Well, it's an amazing thing. And again, a great thing about IES is it's not a local event, because it's here in L.A., everybody wants to be here. We had people from over 20 different countries. We had people from all 50 states. We had an amazing amount of artists that drove all the way from the East Coast to IES. And that's a testament to, again, the speakers, the topics, the knowledge, the location, the energy that's going on right now in the industry. The Rock Honors, of course, you're going to be a very big part of that. There's a lot of trailblazers. Again, this is not a corny award show. Nobody's getting up and, seeing a little trophy and clapping and all that. It's a complete bonding of the new musical community, the new creative, community out there, and the trailblazers that blaze that trail. And we're extremely proud and honored to induct Ozzy Osbourne and Randy Rhoads. And if you don't know who Randy Rhoads is, there wouldn't be an Ozzy Osbourne solo career like it happened without Randy Rhoads. He was the Eddie Van Halen, so to speak, of that band. And the band was called Blizzard of Oz. It wasn't even called Ozzy Osbourne when he joined it. And Randy, to this day, he unfortunately died 2 years into his stint with Ozzy and left us with 2 legendary albums, but is still, to this day, 30 years later, acclaimed as one of the greatest musicians, of our lifetime. And his family, his brother, his sister, his mother, they're going to be there. And it's very, very touching to see someone get an honor who's not around to accept it, and see the influence of his music as strong today as it was 30 years ago when he was packing arenas and stadiums all over the world. And along with that, we're going to induct Black Sabbath, who have just created their first new album in 30 years. And Ozzy is back with the guys, and Black Sabbath started it all. When you talk to Rick Rubin, who created Def Jam, his favorite group of all time is Black Sabbath. I mean, you go back to, I don't care what heavy band, whether it be Rob Zombie or Slayer or whoever, Metallica, Black Sabbath really created the mold. And we're also going to induct and honor the Foo Fighters and Nirvana. Obviously, Dave Grohl has created an amazing documentary this year with Sound City. He's done an amazing legacy to come from behind the drums with Nirvana to front the biggest rock band in the world right now with Foo Fighters. He's just a down-home guy, and he rocks the world. And we're also going to induct and have a very, very special ceremony with Rage Against the Machine. Not only is this group from L.A. and one of the most explosive rock bands in history, but we're going to, like we did with Guns N' Roses last year, we're going to do a case study of a success story of the original Rage Against the Machine album. And
I heard that possibly Garth Richards is going to come down.
There's no question, no question. Garth Richardson, the producer of Rage Against the Machine and so many other great albums, of course, recorded at Sound City.
Yep.
He is definitely going to be there, and we're going to have engineers, mixers, the videographer, hopefully the guy that signed the band members. It's truly going to be a great honor. We're also inducting and having in the house Korn, who, again, like Rage Against the Machine, they mixed hip-hop elements and punk elements with heavy rock and really changed the game. And, other artists, we're looking to have Slash. We got to induct Slash. We inducted Guns N' Roses last year. Of course, Slash was a big part of that. But on his own, he's continued to blaze a trail and create history around the world. And Blink-182, Limp Bizkit, a bunch of artists that we... love or hate them, they actually were trailblazers, and they have created and paved the way for what we have today. So, and let me talk a little bit about the hip-hop honors, because, again, we're inducting N.W.A., and we're doing a special tribute to Straight Outta Compton, and we're going to reunite not only band members, but the original engineer, the guy who taught Dr. Dre how to record and produce music, and legendary mixers, record company executives that signed the band. Of course, Violet Brown, who was their biggest champion and put that group in stores when no one else would. And that's going to be a real honor with N.W.A. We're going back and paying tribute to the late greats who still, their influence grows by the day, and that is Tupac, Nate Dogg, and Eazy-E. Architects of the music business, not only of the last 20 years, but for the next 100 years. These guys will be in the hearts and the minds and on the speakers of music fans all over the world forever. And we're also inducting Bone Thugs and Harmony, DJ Quik, Cypress Hill, Bun B, Warren G, Above the Law, and some of the very important guests like Violet Brown, who we're going to induct and hopefully have her give the honor to Dr. Dre. But also we are honoring Chang Weisberg, the CEO and founder of Guerilla Union. Of course, we have Pay Dues coming up. We have Rock the Bells, which has become the biggest tour in hip-hop history. And we have, of course, Smoke Out with Be Real and everything that Chang has created. And again, you saw an interview with him last week. We've got more interviews next week. We've got a full report from Paid Dues. So the Hip Hop Honors kicks it off the first night of IES. Yeah, so just in the first day, people will get 100 times their money's worth.
Yeah. So and what about what I know Astro is working with, and we've got the World Championship. Well, tell us about that, the DJ Jam.
Well, again, it's not just music, but it is DJs, it's comedy, it's filmmaking, it's video, and we're proud and honored to have the World Championship DJ competition end up at IES this year, August 10th, which right now there are finals, semifinals going out throughout the year, throughout the world, and the DJ World Championship will be at IES on Saturday night, and that's going to be an incredible day. Also the Rock Honors, also that day. So there's something for everybody. And also with comedy, we're going to induct Monty Python, who's one of my favorite, comedy troupes and a force to be reckoned with. A lot of people might not know who that is, but your favorite comedians were, influenced by these guys.
They're considered basically like the Beatles of comedy, actually.
That's what they say. And thanks to you. And, we're very excited to be involved with Python Line and everything coming up. To me, music and comedy and live performances and this exchange, of an audience is all interrelated. And I think what IES does best is bring all that together rather than segregate it. Because before it was like, okay, if you're a filmmaker, you got to go to this event. If you're an actor, you got to go over here. If you're a musician, you got to go over here. A songwriter, you're over there. No, it's all one big lifestyle. It's all one form of
because
entertainment.
Actually, there's a lot of business. Since this is a business, it's like the way IES works. It's a business. It's business during the day and it's party during the night, which is really nice because we got the clubs with all the bands playing all around, up and all around NoHo, up at the Universal City Walk. So it's actually a lot of fun. Give me an example of what a day would be like. Let's say I'm an artist. I want to come, and you're going to say you want to come because I'm going to get the knowledge. What can they expect? I mean, how does a day look like? What is it, as the conference works?
Well, it is so intensive. I mean, you could barely even break down a day. It is 5 days of like going to college. It's like 4 years of college in 5 days. I mean, the intense starts first thing in the morning, and we do the big inauguration. Of course, we had the U.S. Congress bless us last year, and we cut the ribbon with dignitaries, and we had members of KISS and Megadeth and all the big legendary musicians were there. But more importantly, it is intensive. There's good 20, 25 workshops and seminars throughout the day, and whichever one you're not physically at, don't worry about it. They're being videotaped. You're going to be able to stream later. So it is more knowledge, and it's hands-on. Like you say, rather than these virtual things where you're kind of watching something online or reading a book, you're actually there with the people that have made the biggest careers happen in entertainment today, and you're able to ask them questions, meet them afterwards, exchange information. We know there's been a lot of deals, a lot of things have gone down since the last IES. So it is really, really important to just hang on and absorb all you can, because it's extremely intensive. And what you do with that knowledge afterwards, of course, is really most important.
Yeah, well, IES is rocking. So, hey, why don't we show them a little bit about what some of the speakers are saying about IES, and we'll be right back with Road to Hollywood.
What's up, this Jazzy from Jazzy Management, participated in the IES. Hey, if you missed this, I don't know what you're thinking about. You calling yourself an artist? You're not an artist if you wasn't here. It's crazy. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. But check this out. Next year, or the year after that, since you missed this one, you better make the next one. The IES, off the chain. Shouts out to everybody that came and got this game, got this knowledge with all the panels. Not one, not two, not three, but multiple panels with multiple information. If you wanted to learn about any anything about the entertainment game, you should have been here. And you call yourself an artist, you call yourself a manager, you call yourself a producer, you call yourself whatever, you should have been here. Jazzy, and I'm pushing, and I'm down with the IES 100%. Peace.
Yo, what up? This is Bob Hernandez, man, representing Convict Music, if you don't know. So, real quick, man, I'm out here at the IES Fest, man. This thing is really, really good, man. I really like it. A lot of big wigs are here, man. You know, Violet Brown, you know, she's like one of my mentors. Steve LaBelle, that's my man. Jerry Heller, man, I can't even explain about that dude, man. Elton John, are you kidding me? I didn't even know that. But check it out. I really believe and I love my independent artists. And always remember, everybody watching, that every artist that you've ever listened to in your entire life was independent at one time. So don't feel bad if you're an independent artist. Go out there, build your fan base. That's the main thing right now. Build your fan base. Use these social networks, Twitter, Facebook. I don't care if it's MySpace, whatever it is. Use those. They're free. They're for you. And you can make money off them. You can meet people off them. And you can build your fan base. You need to do that. Speaking, Bob Hernandez, Convict Music.
Awesome.
Yes, it's Larry D. I'm here at the Indie Entertainment Summit. Jay Warsinske and his team put on a great summit. You missed it if you wasn't here, man, but make the next one, August 2013. You have to be here. It was priceless. Many of the talent that came here, the people that came and paid their money to come here, got their money's worth. A lot of deals were done. There were guys here that got formative information. The panels wasn't about trophy throwing. The panels were more talking about what you needed and how we can help you accomplish what you don't have and what you're doing if you're doing it right, to keep doing what you're doing. You know, stay tuned, because this is one of the premier panels that and the premier summits that I've been at, and many of my colleagues and producers that I brought on board said the same thing, that this is needed, especially in this part of California, because a lot of them are just about making money and, you know, blowing trophies and what have you. But this was one of by far the best that I've been on, and my guys. And so next year, make sure you come to this, the Indie Entertainment Summit. And I'm proud of Jay and his team. They did a wonderful job. Michelle and all these guys, great. Many people love this. I heard great reviews from people, because I asked people about it to find out if they really connected with people and they really liked it. And people were actually emotional, coming up to me crying, thanking me, you know, my guys and different people and what Jay's done. And so that to me is impacting. And so make sure next year you come to this. Make sure you put it on the calendar, in the Entertainment Summit next year, August 13th.
Scott and I are from Eggman Global Entertainment, Las Vegas, here at the Indie Entertainment Summit. What a great week. Multiple connections. The best idea I've ever had. Got a shout out to Jay for putting on a great opportunity for people to make meaningful connections. Get down and get in front of people that have an interest in forwarding the careers of people in the independent scene, no matter what it is. Movies, music, and entertainment. Loved it. Thanks a lot, Jay.
Yo, what up? This is DMX, and you need to feed your mind with IES. I, Earl Simmons.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Road to Hollywood. I'm Scott Page, and I get to be your illustrious speaker here today to bring in our brother here, Mr. Jay Warsinske, who we're interviewing, our fearless leader. So, hey, Jay, we were talking a little bit about IES. First of all, one of the things we didn't talk about, we talked about all the speakers and all the events and stuff, but we didn't really talk about the bands coming and playing. So how does that all work exactly?
Well, I mean, real simply, you know, after seeing South by Southwest and, you know, thousands and thousands of bands that apply, and very few of them actually get to perform there, you know, the first thing people ask me is, why is IES different? You know, why do we need, you know, this other event? And first of all, because it's 1,000% independent. There's no one there speaking that's on a major label payroll or any of that stuff. And it's all entertainment. We're really bridging the gaps and bringing people together to create and to collaborate. But, you know, from there, it was our mission was that every artist that is attending gets to perform. And that is our mantra from here on out. Every artist has a voice, and we can't promise, you know, giant arena stages and this and that for everybody, but everybody gets a chance to perform. And there's a couple, you know, more marquee events and things like that people can apply for. But it's our honor, because we're trying to get rid of the gatekeepers. Somebody telling you, hey, can you imagine Bob Dylan? He would last about 10 seconds on American Idol or The Voice right now. I guarantee you, no chairs are turning around for Bob Dylan, or I mean, you name it.
Yeah, I got you.
You know, Led Zeppelin probably would have gotten booted off. You know, but you know, the Beatles got rejected by every record company out there. So it's really, you know, it's time to get rid of the gatekeepers. Let the public decide. You know, if they like, you know, Mac Miller, let's make him number one. You know, Justin Timberlake just sold 1 million records this week. So if anybody says that CDs are dead or no one buys music, you know, that's a strong statement right there. And so it's really our honor to make sure everybody gets to perform. So we have a multitude of venues. And, you know, we've got to kind of chart the course and make sure that we've got entertainment every day in every way. But it's really exciting to be able to offer that.
Well, that also makes it a lot of fun for everybody to come, because you're going through the workshops, getting your education. Then at night you get to go out and have a good time, listen to your other bands, meet all those other bands. It's actually a lot of fun, and it's great for the community, because that's open. We allow those to be open to the public, so anybody can come to those events.
Yeah, the IES Festival, certain events are open to the general public, but obviously if you are making music or making video, making movies, writing, producing, managing, run your own label, production company, you want to register. You got to be there. This knowledge, you know, I like to say it's millions of dollars worth of knowledge, because I'm literally seeing artists right now going out and taking ideas like this. Like Macklemore right now is the guys will probably generate, you know, $10 million this year. Besides Tech Nine, again, he's at a whole nother level. But these people are independents, and they're generating tens of millions of dollars right now. So these are truly $1 million of information that we help provide, because the people that are speaking at IS, you can never get these guys on the phone. You call their office, if they don't know you, you won't get past the secretary, or if you leave somehow you get their cell phone number, believe me, they will not call you back. These are the level of the busiest people on the planet, and you know, they're only working with who they're working with. So to get inside that circle and actually meet them and all that, just like we had on last week, we had First Dirt, which is, of course, you know, members of Indie Power, and they started their campaign at IES. Not only did they put together their indie tour, but they got drops from Violet Brown and Steve Lobel and some of the legends that were IES. And that helped them in their cause. They won the contest. They are the independent artist that got picked to pay dues on Saturday. So again, from something to nothing, you know, from nothing to something, from First Dirt to, you know, the penthouse. I mean, it's really all about what you make it, and that's really what we're talking about with IES. You know, it's a great opportunity to learn, connect, grow, expand your career, and get ready for the following year, because it's what you do with that knowledge, and we want to keep it growing.
Yeah, so we hope to really see everybody out there this year. It's going to be a great time. It was a great hang last year. We had a blast. And so, hey, why don't we hear from a few of the other attendees, some of the folks that were there, and we'll see you next week on Road to Hollywood. Thanks, Jay. Wonderful job, buddy.
Hey, how you doing? It's K. Robert Singer, IES, you know, representing. It was unbelievable. You know, a lot of information, a lot of great information. You know, you can't buy this stuff, so, you know, it was great. A lot of performances, had a lot of shows. It's pretty good. Yeah, this is Flow Rocker, man. Flow Style Entertainment. IES Fest was the best fest that you're gonna get, man. I mean, not to knock any of them other summits, man, but this is a place to be at, man. I mean, great legends came out, man, from all kind of guys. Chino XL, Spice One performed. You know, some of the biggest names in the industry. We had some of the biggest industry heads watching over all the new talent, and this is the place you want to go if you're trying to get on, man, or get your stuff out there. So come here to IES, man. Look at it, check it out, man, on the internet. You know what I mean? This is the place to be, man. If you ain't here, you ain't gonna get there. Believe that.
How y'all doing today? My name is D Cross. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm here to tell y'all should definitely come to the IES Awards. This shit was crazy. We seen goddamn hip-hop legends. I mean, hip-hop legends, you know what I mean? From Alcoholics, you know what I mean? For the best, we had Tech Nine on the Skype, Ice-T. It was real big. It was real crazy. You guys need to make sure you come out here next year. Call my man Jay. He gave me personal one-on-one interviews with major record labels, radio stations, TV shows. We had some amazing rock bands. If you think you got talent, this is where you need to be. Ain't nothing better than IES. D Cross, Las Vegas, Nevada.
What's poppin'? It's G-Knock, aka Gino Cardinal, down here at the IES Power Summit. If you're not here, why you wasn't here? It's been poppin'. Nothing but legends, hit makers, beat makers, platinum artists, gold artists, artists from all over is making it happen. Don't be lazy. Get your grind on. Indie power will make it happen, can make it happen. Indie power is power. And you want power, don't be powerless. Stop sitting on the couch, stop standing in the mirror, get up out, get your grind on, get your hustle on, do what you love to do, get paid off of what you love to do. It's G-Knock, that's right. Indie Power, IES, hook up with my man JW, do it big, go beyond. Peace.
Yeah, it's your boy Randy Boston checking in, Cold Crush Music Group, Flavor Collection. I'm out here at the IES event, the Indie Entertainment Summit Live 2012. Yo, if you wasn't here this year, you need to try to make it next year. There was a lot of experience here. The panels was great. I've been to several music conferences. They have old, washed up people that's not even relevant in the game, in the industry, come up here and talk like they know what's going on. We had real people here talking about real things. I learned a lot of stuff myself, how to grow as an artist, management, you know, learning how to perfect my craft, being a better artist, promoter, everything. So you missed out. Also saw some legends here, man. We was on the stage with Spice One. We had the Alcoholics here, you know, straight legends, man, and they was in here dropping game, letting artists know you can make it as an independent artist. So don't ever lose hope. Need to holler at my man J2. Pow.
My name is Lonnie Dangerous. I'm just a tip on iTunes and CD Baby. I'm here at IES. First time, greatest experience ever, and it's only the second day. Spice One came down, Tech Nine Skyped, the Alcoholics were there, Violet Brown was here. It's the craziest thing ever. If you're on the outside of the music industry, the way to rub elbows with everyone in the inside of the industry is get down with IES. Big things. Deal with it.